There's a rocking chair carved from old oak wood, a tin sign saying life is good. Mason jars and candles warm in your palm. Everything whispers Susie's on.
Welcome to Susie on the Farm, where handmade dreams come true. From thrifted treasures to crafty creations, there's always something beautiful in the making. So come on in, feel the heart, and let your creativity bloom.
Hello, my crafty friends. For today's project, I'm putting 2 in 1. I got this sweet little kitty cat off of Whatnot. It's got a beautiful crackle, but you can see a little bit of the decoupage or the pattern underneath, so it needs a little makeover. And also this pumpkin that I had previously made over with milk paint, but it chipped and cracked way more than I wanted to. So I'm going to give both of these a makeover today. And I have already sprayed both of them with 2 good coats of shellac. You know, I'm really hoping for a lot of that crackle to come, but the paint to actually stick. For the paint, I am using Fusion milk paint, and this is the color Little Black Dress. Milk paint is so fun and easy to paint with. You just mix it up pretty much to the consistency that you like, kind of like a melted milkshake with water, and then you just apply it. And surprisingly, the coverage is really good. So I'm giving both of these 2 good coats of the milk paint, and I will also dry in between coats with my heat gun. That just promotes that beautiful cracking that happens sometimes when you use the shellac underneath. I first took a picture of the cat's face so I could paint it back on correctly, so I'd have something to view. But y'all, check out the crackle. I love all that beautiful crackle. Now, I am no artist when it comes to painting faces. I'm just going to grab my little paint pens here and do the very best that I can. He originally had blue eyes, but since all my cats have green eyes, I decided to go with green. And I'm just using my little paint pens, kind of drying in between, and then doing the best that I can. It's not perfect, but it will do for this project. He is such a cutie, and the star of the show, of course, is all that milk paint crackle on him. Okay, so once I got his face back like I wanted it, I need to sand off any of the extra flecks of the milk paint, and I also wanted to highly distress it to bring back a lot of that underneath color and just make it look like, you know how cats just have imperfect patterns everywhere. I wanted him to have a lot of detail. Now, I sealed him up with some clear wax, and I wiped back the extra, and I did the same thing with this pumpkin. Sanded, clear waxed it, and now I want to make one of those black stone-like pumpkins. You guys will have to let me know how you feel about those, or if they are still a thing, but I thought I would give it a try with this one. So I'm taking some white wax, and I'm just going into the ribs of the pumpkin. I had to look that up because last week I could not remember the word, and it never did come to me like things usually do. So it's called ribs. I did look it up. And now I'm just taking a dry paper towel, and I'm just going up and down. I'm not swirling this white wax all around. I'm just keeping it in those ribs, and I love how this turned out. This is not a foam pumpkin, by the way. This is a heavy ceramic pumpkin, and it just looks amazing. The pictures do not do either of these justice, but let's take a look at the finished product. I always pick up these recipe box. This one's great. It's a good size. It'll hold an iPad or a recipe book. It was actually pretty stinking cute, but we're going to update it a little bit. It was raised just a tiny bit, so I took some sandpaper, sanded it down, not off, just sanded all the ridges off. And now I'm taking Fusion paint in the color Putty, and I'm giving the entire box 2 good coats. This is not a fall transfer, but I thought the colors would go well with a lot of fall decor. I believe this is from Seed Catalog, and it's almost a perfect fit, but not quite. So I'm actually cutting it down just organically, not perfect, to fit on the front of the box. And then I just use the little rubbing tool that comes with all the Iron Orchid Design transfers. By the way, if you're new to Iron Orchid Designs, these are amazing, easy products to really update your own DIY makeovers, and they're all available at SusieOnTheFarm.com. I sealed that up with some Big Top after I gave it a good distress and wiped back all the excess dust, and I even had some cute little recipe cards that fit perfectly inside it. For project number 3, I'd had this cute little teapot in my stash for a while. After some inspection, it did have a couple of little chips and dings that needed some repair, so I didn't think that it would sell as is. So I'm taking that same Fusion mineral paint that has a self-leveler, sealer, everything in it, and giving this thing a couple of coats. I did, in the process, find that there was some residue. I could not, like, adhesive residue from the tape that they put on it at the thrift store. I couldn't see it, and you probably can't even see it in this video, but it was definitely there. Once I painted it, I could. So I had to stop and clean it mid-paint there, but I gave it 2 coats of, this is that same putty color that I used on the recipe box. And once I got it covered, it turned out beautiful. It was a perfect finish. I did also spray this one with shellac. I wasn't sure what all I was going to be milk painting in the beginning. So this one also got a coat of shellac, which helped this paint adhere to this ceramic, but is not really necessary with Fusion paint, but it's never a bad idea. So I got 2 coats on there, and now I'm taking these 2 little precious cows from the new Cotswold Cottage, I think it's called, transfer pack, because who does not love cows, right? This is a very curved surface, and sometimes transfers can be a bit tricky on curved surfaces. I like to cut them in half or apart, because all of the IOD transfers have this grid line on the backing, so it makes it super easy to cut them straight and line them back upright. So everything was going fine with this cow until I was lining up his backside, and part of his tail actually came off on my finger. You can see me kind of being really careful with that middle finger and keeping it held up while I get this transferred down. And then I had to go find something to try to get it off of my finger. I wasn't able to find some tweezers, but I was able to carefully remove it and replace his tail, but that's not always the case. I didn't have any trouble with the other cow because I didn't film it. I kept it in my lap between my legs, and that does help you be able to apply to a curved surface as well. Now, because I'm not hoarding any of my transfers anymore, I'm putting them on the things. I am using this gorgeous little fall wreath that fits almost perfectly on top of the lid. Again, I cut this one in half so I could go around the little knob of the teapot. And then when I did the other side to make it fit just perfect, I kind of overlapped them a little bit. You can do whatever you want with your transfers. You can overlap them. You can cut them just the piece out that you want. They do not have to go on anything like the package. This one came out so stinking cute. I'm in love with these cows and this color milk paint. Again, all of these are available on my website. And when this video is over, you guys will have to be sure and let me know in the comments which is your favorite of these projects. I have saved my favorite project to last. So this is a pumpkin that I decoupaged napkin on in Alive last year. As you can see, it got some yellowing and just didn't stay like it originally started. And I'm going to do a paint inlay on this one. Now with your paint inlays, you will want to use a clay or chalk based paint, something that is water soluble until it is sealed. I am using DIY paint in the color Gypsy Green. I have tried this paint inlay on several different colors, but not green. So that's what I'm choosing to do today. So the way paint inlays work is they inlay into your wet paint. So I've applied a second coat, and now I'm taking little pieces of the Alfred Peets & Co. paint inlay. This was from the summer release, but I have done a couple of pieces of furniture with it, and I'm just absolutely obsessed. So I had some of these random smaller pieces that I want to apply to this pumpkin. So while your paint is wet, you'll want to wet the back of your paint inlay on the paint side and then push it into your wet paint. This pumpkin with all its little ribs is going to have lots of texture. And don't forget, we also had that decoupage napkin underneath. I didn't sand any of that off because I feel like all that extra texture is just going to work in my favor with this one. So what I'm doing, and if you'll also notice on my paint inlay pieces, I don't have any harsh edges. I've kind of cut everything in a rounded way, no like sharp corners or anything, because your paint inlays sometimes will leave what I call a halo around them where you can see where the backing paper was, and I don't like that. It probably wouldn't have mattered on this project just because it is such a curved surface and has so much texture anyway. But that's just how I like to do my paint inlays, and it really cuts down on that edging that you can see. So I'm just going all the way around this sweet little pumpkin, applying the paint inlay small pieces where I can. With the wet paint, I wet the inlay, and then once I have got everything like I want it, I'm going to take my mixture bottle and re-wet the entire pumpkin, and then use a dry paper towel to carefully dab off all the excess water. And then once everything is dry, It doesn't take long. Once it's dry, I'm going to come back and re-wet the whole entire thing. Again, dabbing off all the excess water, and then begin removing all the paint inlay pieces. And I don't know what I was thinking here. I guess I forgot you guys were here because I'm just watching these reveals myself and not even showing you much. But they all came out really good. They're not perfect. Paint inlays are actually not meant to be perfect. And that is one of the things that I absolutely love about them. Here you go. Now you can get a little bit better view. I just love these colors, and this inlay looks absolutely gorgeous on green too. So far, I haven't seen a color I did not love this one on. I got all of the backing papers removed, and then I had to touch up that handle. I could tell, and I remembered that I had used DIY liquid patina with the golden ticket on that. So I just took some more of it and cleaned up that handle a little bit. Now for sealing paint inlays, I like to wait overnight to let them really dry really well. You can seal them right after you do them, but you do run a risk of a little bit more bleeding. So I just wait till the next day and then lightly go over them with usually Big Top or some kind of clear sealer. How cute is this pumpkin? Here you can really see all of the texture, and that is definitely one thing that I love about it. And I'm out of this paint and lay right now, but I do have some ordered. So if you're interested, just go ahead and keep an eye on the website. Let's take one more look at all of today's projects. And also, thank you guys so much for watching my channel. I truly appreciate it more than you could ever know. Do me a favor and go ahead and leave me a comment below. Let me know which project is your favorite from today's video. Be sure to like this video and make sure you're subscribed for more thrift store makeovers. See you guys next week.